have cinematographer extraordinaire Brent Yons, who looks like he's playing a bit of a video game, but in actuality he's animating a whole bunch of lights over here. The light shining on the face of our female creature and the light hanging from the female creature. And he's checking the actual viewfinder and animating it by eye. He doesn't even have little markers on his controllers. It's all done by eye. I did mention he was cinematographer extraordinaire, and he's doing it all to Spanish music to keep the passion going. Top job.
That's the way to do it.
Now, the reflection of the bulb doesn't actually create these little pinpoint highlights in the eye. So what Brent has had to do is to place mirrors on either side of the puppet so that the light from the moon is bouncing back onto the mirrors and then into the eye of the puppet, which is kind of ingenious, unless you need to animate him, which we also do from time to time. So what are you doing, Brent?
Well, I have this really cool yellow tape measure tape that we're using to...
Wait, is that tape with tape measure markings on it?
Correct.
I've never seen that before. That's amazing.
And we're putting that next to the puppet so Christopher can get his interval marks.
Jesus. This is making stop motion a snap. We're setting up the second shot, which consists of a big dolly move from left to right, and we're now just blocking in the start and end position so we know how it's going to look, and then I have to figure out how to make her walk sideways like a crab, and I'm going to attempt to do it without any tie downs, just leaning her forward on her big arms. So let's hope that that works out. It's now 5:24 p.m. We started this shot at about 10 past 11, and we've captured about 4 seconds. And right now Brent Yons, our cinematographer, is animating this light, which has been following our female creature as she walks across the grass. At the same time, he's been animating the little light that appears from her head, and also the light which is hanging over this set. Oh, and he's been moving this dolly from left to right. Top job.
We'll see when the shot's finished.
Yeah, good luck. What are you working on, Brent?
I'm working on a in-camera set extension to try to see down a road into the darkness, and so we're constructing a little street light to kind of give that sense of depth so it's spilling onto the street behind our creature.
So right now we have the creature in the only sideward shot where you can see down the road, but you can kind of see where the road ends. So as you can see here, we've created a bit of a set extension. Unfortunately, the road pieces have warped because they weren't being stored flat. However, you can't tell on camera, so that's okay. And so Brent, you're creating a street light down the end of the road, basically.
That's correct.
So we're shooting the male creature turning and having the headlights of a car come straight at him, and Brent's animating the light sliding along this dolly straight into the eyes of our male. Here he is at work. Go, Brent, go! Go, 1 mil! Go, 1 mil! So we're setting up a shot where our male creature scurries out of the bush, and Here's a shot of him as seen through the camera on our computer, and the lighting overhead is a little square. Brent, our cinematographer, wanted to make that look more like a moon. So what's the solution?
Well, we took a piece of black foam core and Christopher masterfully cut out a perfect circle.
That's a pretty good circle.
For our moon. And what we're going to do is clamp it right onto our square light, wrap it with black wrap around the edges so there isn't any spill, and then in the reflection of the eye we'll have a nice little circular diffused moonlight in our character.
Well, we'll cut back to that when it's done.
Alright.
Moments later, Brent's installed the moon, and if we check the monitor now, well, the eye has a circle reflection, not a square. We're about to launch into our first shot where a creature gets run over. And to be honest, this is probably one of the most difficult shots we've got, because there are a large number of steps that we've had to write down that need to occur in sequence. Perhaps it would be better if Brent talks us through it.
Well, we have 5 steps. We have 3 to 4 steps within those steps. And basically what is happening is our creature is walking from point A to point B as a car is approaching.
Point A to point B. Check.
And
Car approaching
car headlights are approaching from back here.
on a dolly that you're going to animate
Correct.
inch by inch.
Inch by inch.
Yep,
2 inches by 2 inches.
got it.
Step 2, the car headlights pass overhead, so we're going to physically lift the lights up and go for 3 frames over the top of the puppet.
So you're just going to hold those lights and be very still for each frame of those 3 frames.
Correct. And while all this, Christopher is going to put his blowing skills to use and and blow some wind
Zing.
on the puppet as the wind goes by.
I'll be blowing wind.
Yes.
That still sounds terrible.
Well,
Next.
has to happen. While at the same time I'm providing black ambience for the car to be passing.
Is that with this cutter?
Yep, this is called a finger.
Ah, a finger.
And it's a fairly large middle finger, and it cuts right over the top of the puppet.
I'm giggling like a little girl. Keep going.
Step 3, we drop in a green screen in front of the puppet.
Sweet Mary.
A little 2 by 2 foot green screen, which this light will be turned on to illuminate, and it'll be at the exact same f-stop that our creature is lit to that we're shooting the whole scene at to make it nice, clean, key, and composite. So at that point, the car element is passing between our physical character and our set, so we can get a 3D perspective of all 3 planes happening at the same time, while Chris is still blowing. And step 4, we remove the green screen, Chris is still blowing, and animating female, oh, we forgot, the female headlight is being animated at the same time, from start to finish as all this is happening.
Wow. Who's doing all this? You.
And once the green screen is removed, we have car taillights that will be playing on the creature.
Which is basically still that rig over there.
Lifted up and moved over here.
And are you moving the whole rig over? You're not going to just hold
a
it.
couple lights.
And you're placing the orange. Oh, you're putting red gels on.
Correct. And then step 5 is all our plates to make all this come together. So we have a couple plates with the creature, some elements that are going to be blocking out this light to be used as animated plates for the car passing in front of him, and then clean plates of the entire set, again with car shadow, foam core pieces in place to block out our moonlight so that we can have a clean shadow pass of the car.
And we have our previously run over dead creature ready to roll. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling awfully anxious about all that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So now we're working on the scene where the car drives by, and the character's hair has to move with the wind. So if you have a look at the computer screen, we've already taken a few frames of the hair blowing in the wind. So in order to achieve that result, it's simply a matter of me each frame jumping in and blowing. Believe me, I've got a bit of a headache after having done this for like 5 frames. So really just messing it up and giving the illusion that something has driven by and has created a vacuum of wind. Well, you look totally normal. What are you doing?
I'm playing the part of a car taillight. I'm getting the character.
Yeah.
Method actor here.
You look pretty convincing so far. So you're going to manually hold these lights onto the road to give the illusion of the end of the car driving by.
Correct.
What
And then we have to jump from here to that rig.
And then you're going to do the rest on the slider.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Exactly. How are you feeling?
Tired, stinging eyes, letting out some gas. Not from me, from the creature. I'm pumping it to make it look like it's breathing out, and I'm using this little gauge to determine how many increments to get bigger and smaller. But every time I pump it, it lifts the rear up and the head tips forward, so I have to animate the head back as it expands, and then as it contracts I have to animate the head forward again, so that on the screen his head is stationary and only the back of him looks like it's expanding and contracting. It's my life, unfortunately. Well, I'm about to start the shot in the film where the female character looks into camera and is about to devour the male. As you can see here, I don't have a lot of room to get in and animate. We've got light stands all over the place, and so it's going to be a very tight squeeze. But I have everything I need. Here's the storyboard, which shows the first shot of her just baring her teeth. We cut away and then we cut back, and then she leans forward and eats the camera more or less. I have all the things I need ready. The mouth plates, which will be inserted in the middle of the animation. A tongue, which I'm not sure if it will work yet, but that's just made out of clay. And of course the most important ingredient, KY jelly, which will be used to create saliva. I believe it was also used in the Alien films to create that drool effect. I've got eyelids, tweezers and a pencil with a little bit of a sticky glue on the end to allow me to pick up the eyelids and help place them in, and of course my trusty PC running drag and stop frame animation. Well, here we are at the last shot of the whole production, and we're doing a take where the camera pulls back through the bush out the other side, which we're going to use to stitch in with another couple of shots of the female creature at the end where her light turns on and we pull away from her. Now, Brent, we're not going to stop motion animate this. We're going to actually video record it. Tell us how we reached this point.
That's correct. Well, we started stop motion animating this shot and found that what we wanted aesthetically were these bushes to really kind of fling into frame really fast as we back out and have this force effect that we weren't achieving in stop motion because the bushes are a lot less controllable and we can't get that effect. So we got to this point out of aesthetic purposes to move back faster through the bushes and really have them kind of pop in and out of frame before we come out of the bush all the way for the connecting shot. Speed.
And action.